Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Edushare. This is I think the third video supposedly. This is gonna be quick. I want to share one thing that maybe can help university students in Indonesia, or yeah, maybe university students in general if it may relate to you. I want to talk about the credit system in university and how it might not be so relevant or might not be so credible in terms of justifying how much have we learned. In Indonesia, I think it is normal to hear that there are certain courses that are weighted 2, 3, 4 SKS, or yeah, in Indonesia it is called satuan kredit semester, or yeah, it is equivalent to credits in foreign countries. It is normal to have like courses with 4 credits, but it is not as complicated or as burdening as another course with 3 credits. And there are some courses with 2 credits, but it is so complex that actually it costs you time like for like equivalent to 4 to 5 credits. So it is normal, and I'm not saying that um, these are a fixable issues, because justifying how the ideal amount of time that you have to spend in certain courses is very dynamic, and I think it should be dynamic considering the context of the courses should also change, adapting towards the changing environment, like especially in engineering. The issues, the era, the new technology, and so on, it keeps emerging every single day, and to make the courses relatable towards the current context, it is important to make the courses shifting a bit and here and there, and uh, yeah, by that, the amount of time that you can spend might or might not be ideal. And yeah, we procrast, we do not use our time properly, including me. I think my time management is not that good. It's actually bad compared to my friends in ITB. And yeah, as a bad time manager, I kind of feel that um, I can do things in a quicker way, although by doing things in a quicker way, it might not give me the full learnings, because when things just pass by, when you do not have time to be very mindful with the things that you are doing, sometimes you just do it to finish it. You just do the task, you just do the final assignment just to finish it, and sometimes it might not do good in terms of giving you a long term learnings about the courses. Like, I often forgot about what things I have learned the previous semester, simply because there are just too many things to do, and I tend to sacrifice the courses thing just because the benefit of the courses is not that tangible or not that real for me at that moment, and I prefer to do more competitions or organization stuff that whose benefits I can relate more, and I think can translate better towards the career that I want to have in the future. But regardless, um, yeah, justifying what the amount of credits for courses is pretty hard. But um, I'm just finishing. I think I've shared this to a couple of people. Like, I just finished my internship from Kampus Merdeka program by Kemedikbud in Halodak, and yeah, it is a telemedicine company. For those who you don't know, but for those who don't know, yeah, but um, the the interesting thing about it, after I finish, is that the amount of credits that I can take or I can get from my university is actually quite low, at least relative to my expectation. Like, I think most Indonesian students in university know that this 6 months internship program is actually should be equivalent to 20 SKS, or like 20 Indonesia credits, as per mandated by the Ministry of Education. In the implementation, it is often as low as no credits. In some of my friends' cases, they are awarded with no credits, because there is simply no correlation between the thing that the undergraduate program should teach them with the thing that they learn from the internship program, which I think is totally nonsense, because yeah, this is an opinion for an undergraduate student, and I haven't really worked or have a full time job in our professional career. So this can be totally wrong. But I think, in my opinion, um, learning about learning to be a good worker and be a professional worker can be done in any company, regardless of the relatability between your education program or your education background and the field that your company is currently working on. I think especially in corporate setting, the situation can be very dynamic. Like I think in Howdog, the thing that I can share with you, and this is just a perception. This is my personal perception and not endorsed by the company at all. Is that um, the company is a very dynamic business company, meaning if there is certain problems that require different approaches and maybe uh, not so related towards the previous or towards the background of the company, then you have to consider to solve it. Like the slogan of Halodoc is simplifying healthcare, and it means that any type of healthcare problem that you can solve, at least you have to consider to solve it. Even if there are some healthcare problems that require medical or clinical approach, there are other healthcare problems that require more business approach. It's kind of mixing back, but I think there are more problems that require more medical approaches, meaning it has to be very careful, very technical, while on other uh, healthcare problems regarding accessibility and so on, it requires a more dynamic, a quicker approach, a more detailed or operational kind of approach. And I think that's how corporate works. I think, especially in current 4.0 industry setting with a very agile kind of environment, and being able to adapt, being able to learn broad kinds of knowledge is actually the ideal output, I think, from what an undergraduate student should be like. Because to be perfectly honest, unless you are very genius or you are very good, like the top 1%, the top 5% in your major or in the undergraduate program, I think the most realistic expectation that the university can put onto their graduates is that they can have enough knowledge and informed understanding of what options do they have in their future careers, and um, what type of master's program they can get, what types of job titles that is under their option. Having knowledge of those options, I think, is an important thing to be had by undergraduate students before they graduate and choose their next steps. And trying out uh, different settings of fields, I think it's not that bad to a point where you can give no credit towards the students. I think it's totally nonsense that you give no credit for students don't um, who don't go to the industry that they are supposed to go. I truly understand that this might not be a popular opinion, and proving this might be very hard, which I totally can agree. But on the other hand, I think uh, giving out like 1 or 2 credits, I think, can be justified. Again, maybe the credits don't come from the faculty or the home department, but maybe coming from the general education department staff in the university. I think it totally makes sense. And yeah, the context of each university can be different in terms of how loyal should you be towards the identity of the home department. Like certain departments are more agile or more adaptable. Like anything you learn, especially soft skills, it can be credited because we want you to sharpen your soft skills as much as possible. But on the other departments, they tend to put the emphasis upon hard skills and academia based knowledge. And having such soft skills like leadership, effective communication, being agile, can manage your priorities and so on. While it is good, it might not be something that is very important towards the undergraduate program. And yeah, well, it means that they won't credit you that much. But um, I think at the end of the day, what I experience right now is that I get, I think, quite low number. I can't really mention the numbers because it is undisclosed And yeah, if anyone wants to discuss with me, I'd be open, but for this video I won't disclose it. The main argument is that I'm an engineering student, and what I did back in Halodoc is actually a business, um, or a management kind of working experience, because I work as kind of a business analyst, making financial model and stuff, um, rather than being an engineer, dealing with more tech stuff or dealing with more data stuff, that's supposed to be in the field of engineering. I can totally agree with that, which means that I cannot get like the whole 20 credits that the Ministry of Education recommends the university to give. But on the other hand, I think that um, giving the number of credits as low as I experienced, I think is quite unjustified, simply because the period that I work is longer than what most courses ask. Like, I think most courses require 4 months, and I do my internship for 6 months. That's first. Second, I do things that are actually under my field or in my field, which is healthcare. Thirdly, I think I make a tangible impact towards the company, and I think not all courses require me to do tangible impacts. But what I mean by tangible is that it is real, that it involves real people with real interest, with real money, and I think I'm doing that. I'm working with real professionals. I'm working with other external parties. I try to lead meetings with professionals. I make a financial model that might not be perfect, and it is indeed far from perfect, but I try to learn to be a professional worker. And I don't think that the weight of responsibility is as much as is the weight of responsibility is much bigger compared to my usual courses in a classroom setting. um, I also can see that the amount of time hours that I put on is very is significantly more compared to the amount of hours that I put on my courses. Like, I can literally skip classes and I still get an A in my opinion, or in my personal experience. But in work settings where every single day it can change, every single day there are new partners that may come, there are new directions coming from the management. Although I was just an intern, so it is not that dynamic. The situation is more stable, but at some points in my experience, I was asked to shift or pivot uh, in regards to my timeline or the milestone that I pursue. For instance, I try to finish the certain part of the modeling, the forecast, by this date, and my mentors or my managers recommend me to seek for another partner, seek for another data to improve the accuracy of my models, and I totally agree with that. So we shift the timeline, and I think that kind of thing is normal to happen in corporate setting. With all those things, I just believe that um, you know it should weight more than what I can get, and I think I will get in my tenure as a Kampus Merdeka intern. um, I can make I I can understand if the argument is that um, credit system in university is a very limited is a very um, yeah, it's a very limited way of university to appreciate you, like yeah, credits is not the ultimate way to appreciate what students has achieved. And number two, just don't be that soft. Like, do not ask your university or your department to always accommodate your intention or your interest. Sometimes they also have their own stuff, and I totally agree. Like, justifying courses or justifying credits for courses, back again in the earlier part of the video, I think it's very hard to be done, and it requires various considerations. But on the other hand, what I want to say is, um, at least as students, what we can do is try to be more confident that the amount of credits that are written in each of our course might not be that accurate. You can give more effort into a 2 credit courses and make it 4 credits for you, or you can just lay back and put less effort in a 4 credits course to make it like 3 credits and you still get an A. Of course, the later scenario is much more harder to do. Like, yeah, in most cases, even if it is 4 credits, it requires us to do like 6 or 7 credits, which again totally makes sense. And it happens, I think 95% of time in every single department in ITB. But on the other hand, if anyone just feels that I want, the way I plan my semester or my learning for this term is by seeing the number of credits that I get, and by that I can validate how much weight then I will have in this semester. Then I'd say that there need to be more discussions with your seniors. There needs to be more in-depth readings of what the syllabus looks like, and sometimes the syllabus or the testimonies from seniors might give you a better understanding of what how taxing or how hard would the course be. And I think that's where the iteration process will come. And on the other hand, whenever we try to earn experiences outside the curriculum by joining organization, joining internship and stuff, and the amount of credits that our department or our university gives is not as big as what should be or what is expected. I think the most important thing is that first we have to be respectful towards um, this condition, because again, justifying credits, the amount of credits, is certainly not that easy. Number two, um, um, I think um, there should be less hope right now. I don't know if this is true, but we should expect less and less in terms of how our department in Indonesia University can help us. At least in my case, they don't really help me in a sense that they give me enough credits for what I've learned so that I can you know uh, finish my obligations, because there is a requirement of how much credits you should take for your home department, and by giving the that relief, I can learn other things that might not be there in my department, but I feel that's very important for my future. And I know this quite sounds selfish, but yeah, that is what I think. Like, um, be um, giving your graduates or your students the room to explore so many things, something that the lecturers or the instructors might not have the time to do so, because the jobs is just too much to yeah, you have jobs, you have family and stuff, and because of that you can't really have the time to explore. I think giving that responsibility to the students, and by exploring you give them the independence of experiencing numerous things, experiencing real work experience, real professional communication experience with real professional settings in a real job, with a real responsibility. um, I think that's how education should be shaped into. That's why I am quite very grateful, despite the fact that the Kampus Merdeka program only existed in my final year. Like, if only it happens for 1 or 2 years earlier, I think I would join so many parts of the program, and it kind of, yeah, gives me a bit of upset, but yeah, regardless, I'm still thankful for the opportunities. um So yeah, that's it for me. I think at the end of the day, um, the way our education system, or I don't know, this is kind of too heavy or like too assumptive, because I'm not really an education practitioner. But at least the amount of support that our department can give to us, or the amount of support that our university can give to us, to give credits towards the things that we have done, the amount of learnings that we have got, I think is very limited. The ability of the current system to measure how much you learn is certainly limited, because in some cases you learn less but you get too much credits. In some cases you get much knowledge, but the amount of credits it's too small. And because of that, I think it's best to advocate every student who watches this video to truly have an autonomy. You have to have an autonomy of determining how much learning would you want to have, what kind of learning do you want to have. Do not really rely upon the system that the undergraduate program brings, because even if it is a very structured and well thought program, I think biomedical engineering, my department, it is very thoughtful. the journey is the journey is quite clear, but the learnings are quite um, theoretical or basics, in a sense that it cannot really translate into industry seamlessly. There is still certain gaps of uh, industrial context, or hard and soft skills that needs to be learned independently by us, the students, through the experience that we kind of pursue by ourselves independently. Even if Campus Merdeka is one of the programs that try to bridge the interest between the students and also the university, like by giving the students the ability to claim credits from the internship program that they are doing, which is the dream scenario for any student who want to go to have an internship. I think the journey is still far. There's still a long way towards our university being able to totally credit, uh, give proper credit towards the students for what they learn, in terms of both soft skills, hard skills, the amount of learnings, leadership ability, communication ability, and stuff that might not be so measurable, and it is hard to measure soft skills. But if you want to really grow as a system, I just think that it is better for the the current education system in Indonesia to grow more and to truly see what's behind things, to truly see that the context of the industry and the context of uh, of of, of available job titles or available roles in the industry might not fit into what the idealism into what the department's idealism bringing. Because yeah, we need some graduates needs to work as early as possible, and um, after graduating they want to get a job as much as fast as possible. And I think um, department should also have an interest to um, help their graduates making their career faster by giving proper credits towards students can who can prove that they have learned enough things for them to graduate. Yeah, again, I'm very thankful, even if the amount of credit is very low, considering the difficult, the more difficult context that my seniors or my superiors experienced back in the past. Like, internship program, I think, if didn't even really get any credit. Like, do not even really think about low credits. Like, even any credits, they don't really get it, and I get it even if it is quite low. So I'm still thankful for that, for that accommodation. But on the other hand, um, as a student, as an honest student, I'm quite upset. Not because of the amount of credit, but because there is still a long way to go for uh, a long way, and there needs to be more and more collaboration and discussions on how uh, the universities or the higher education system can finally uh, contextualize their learning curriculum and fit it into what the industry or what the current problem requires. I believe that the core value of what engineers should be is to solve problems, understand problems, validate problems, and then solve problems. For sure, in a more concrete settings, there are job roles who are required to solve more rather than understanding more. You know, like if you're in IT or in programming, you are required to solve more, while the context of the problems are brought by other divisions. So you do not really required to understand problems context, or you are not really required to really know the context of the problems, because other divisions will explain it to you, and the more important thing that you have to do is making the flow charts of the logics, making the algorithms, and finding ways to solve the problems. While on the other hand, there are certain job roles in engineering that requires to you know, or yeah, the other example of the role that requires more solve than understand problem is technical engineer or clinical engineers. You are required to solve mechanical issues or solve um, issues in instruments. Being a field engineer, for instance, I think that is the job title that embraces the role of being a solution maker rather than understanding problems. But there are also other cases in which the engineers, like in R&D department, are more required to think about the problem and understanding the problem rather than bringing out the exact solution. Like maybe the implementative solutions will be brought by other parts, but you know, in that division, you are required to understand more, or like um, get more context of the problem so that the solver later on can solve the problem in accurate manner, and the solution will be accurate to answer the problem. But regardless, that is how the thought process, I think, as far as I know, again, as an undergraduate student, should be like when it comes to being an engineering student. And you know, I think me and many of my classmates are just we the working experience that we had back then, we try to solve what the companies are actually struggling in, and at least when we present the result of our internship towards our instructor or our lecturer here in the university, they appreciate that what we have gone through is quite impactful. The work experience is real. The amount of experience that we get is very much and very actual, factual, relevant towards the current industry. And even one of my friends is actually getting a full-time offer from the company that he had an intern before in Kampus Merdeka program. And you know, I think um, considering those facts, yeah, the direction should be to credit more and more the students who have the bravery to go to experience a real life working or research experience by giving them proper credits in the university, not burdening those students to finish the courses that this university provided, while it might not be that relevant, not because of the fault of the curriculum or the academia team, but more so because making the courses each year becoming very relatable it is not that easy, and I totally understand it. But um, yeah, it is, I think, just an upset from me personally, and I don't know um, how this issue gonna be resolved in the next batch of interns. At least in my batch, or in my case, yeah, it is case closed. The amount of credits, I think, won't go that high, even if I kind of asked for discussion and stuff. I don't think it's gonna go up, because the argument is still there that your job desk is not engineering. um, But yeah, yeah. Just wishing all who watch this the best luck of doing what you think is important for your future, what you think is does makes you happy and makes you incentivized to go more and more. Again, I'm just sharing things that I feel is right according to what I know and what I learned. But for sure, this can be totally wrong, and I am happy to hear your thoughts. Um, Simply because I'm not an expert at this, it's just my personal opinion, and if anyone kind of have the same voice of like, why are we not supported to seek what we want to seek the career that we want to have? Why don't the institution that we believe should be the main endorser of what we want to pursue instead push us down, quote unquote, or held us back? um, yeah um, I don't really know. You know yeah, scoring courses is hard. Justifying the amount of credits is hard, but coming from student perspective or student background, yeah, we just hope that things gonna be better, and eventually the amount of real things that we can do outside of the classroom can be significantly more than just learning in a classroom, especially in virtual settings. Like, we truly understand that the university cannot really bring 100% of their facility into place or put it into use. So when we have the access, when we can pass or yeah, pass certain selections to have a real work experience, either it is through research, through projects, through courses, or even if it is virtual, it is a virtual courses with foreign students in foreign universities. Those kind of things, I think there needs to be more and more, at least emotional support coming from the undergraduate program, that we are really happy to have you as our students, and we want to support you in whatever means you want, as best as we can. But if we are talking about credits, it might not be realistic considering the procedure or the bureaucracy. I think achieving that level of mutual understanding between undergraduate program and students is the ideal way of um, collaboration that should exist. Like, um, for sure, me as students, we have to compromise with our idealism, but at least I think what is necessary at the minimum is that the commitment or the full support, in the sense that if we can, we will give you more credits, but we can't. So I want you to understand it, and I think it is totally understandable. Again, I'm not blaming anyone. It's just that I realize of how far um, are we from having a more contextual or more relevant guided system, and yeah, hopefully in the future it can be more and more relevant, be more and more cooperative, in a sense, so that yeah, more and more students who have aspirations of who already have aspirations to work in certain companies or work in certain fields, they are not limited only by um, credit system in university. Again, this might be wrong, so I'm totally open towards any inputs towards the way that I think how this issue should be discussed. And yeah, you again, you should seek out for more um, more credible knowledge or more credible perspective, because yeah, again, I'm just an undergraduate student, I don't really know much, but that is the thing that I want to share with you, so that yeah, if anyone it is just that if anyone feels this type of issue also, and kind of confused on is is my issue, or is my concern is something real, that my credit is too low, then I think at least me, I have also the same concern. Okay, yeah, it's quite long, but yeah, hopefully things gonna be better for the future batches. I believe that the future of Indonesian education is bright, and hopefully all the pieces will come back, will be fit and put together eventually, and there will be a more empowering and exciting education system coming in Indonesia, some way somehow. And as a student, then, and soon to be, I hope, soon to be alumni, um, I wish that I can contribute later in the way that our education system would grow into what I dream should be like, if it makes sense. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and wishing all the best day, and yeah, see you in another video. Thank you.